Do you have any feel for Cooper?
Yeah, he'll be out.
Okay. In the long run, is there any concern here beyond this coming week?
I think there's obviously concern going into next week being a short week, but I don't think it's going to be too long term.
Matt, he makes it sound like it's going to take a while for him to get back to full health. Are you going to look at putting him on IR? Or?
No, I don't. I mean, I wouldn't say that. No.
With Purdy, apparently, there's some question about whether he's going to play. Do you guys have to go scurrying for some Brandon Allen film, or you just kind of take the 49ers offense for what it is and keep with that?
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, I know Brandon. I was with him in L.A. He's played. He's been in the league now a long time. But I wouldn't expect their offense to change a whole bunch.
Matt, we asked you a little bit about Valentine yesterday. When you look back on what he was able to do as a rookie last year, how much does that prepare him for whatever might be ahead of him the next couple?
Oh, yeah, it's great that he's got game experience, and, I'm excited for his opportunity.
He played a lot, obviously, last week, which is probably his most significant snap count. How do you think he got through that? And when a guy plays a whole bunch, do you expect a jump the next week in this play?
Yeah, I think he did a great job. I think he did everything we asked him to do, and the thing I love about him is, especially the areas where we wanted to see improvement, I think the physicality, and he put on a lot of weight in this offseason and got a lot stronger. And, I mean, you could see it show up in the game in terms of him throwing his face in the fire, so to speak, and making some tough tackles and doing the crack replacing and all the things that are required of a corner. I thought he did a really good job with that.
Matt, so Jeff got after us a little bit yesterday for being what he thought was kind of negative. And when I look at your defense, there's been a lot of good things that have happened this year, but it's kind of a tough goal against an offense that have been struggling. How do you, kind of big picture, how do you feel about where your defense is at going?
Yeah, I mean, this is the National Football League, and I think I would tell you this, and I told him the same thing. I said, anytime we hold somebody to 19 points in a game, I expect to win the football game. So, and I don't care who you're playing. When you look at, there's talented players across the league, and you got to show up and play your best every week. Otherwise, you're susceptible to giving up points and yards. And so, do I think we played our best game? No, I don't. But am I discouraged? No, I'm not. And it's you got to maximize your opportunities, and we got a great challenge in front of us. I mean, this is one of the most explosive offenses in the league, and they have been for a long time. And we all know how good of a play caller Kyle is, and so it's going to be a great challenge for us.
Matt, what kind of jump did you see from Jauan Jennings so far this year, and just kind of how they're using him, especially with some of the injuries now?
Yeah, I've seen a jump in his play really every year. The more opportunities he's gotten, the more he's produced. And the thing you love about this guy is just his versatility. You see him on special teams. He's a very physical player, and they just are giving him more ops in the passing game, and he's taking advantage of it. I think he's a really good football player, and he's developed quite a bit.
How do you train your quarterback to throw well under pressure? Because I was thinking, obviously Jordan's pass to Christian for the big play, he got hit pretty hard. How do you train a guy to make a play like that?
Well, you don't take ones that can't do that. That's how you train them. So I mean, I don't know. There's no magical drill or anything like that. It's some guys can do it and some guys can't, and I think that's one of the criteria that when you're coming out in the draft, if you see a guy that we call those no flinch. If you see a guy that has no flinch and can stand in there and make those throws, then yeah, he that's a prerequisite. If guys will chuck and duck, I don't think you can play in this league. So you don't take guys that do that.
Matt, if you can't answer this, I totally understand. I'm curious though, like you play the gamesmanship a little bit. I'm sorry that you didn't say the injury report will be out at 3 o'clock today. But, you try to use that as best you can to an advantage, right? So when you have a game like this week where we don't know if Purdy's going to play, we don't know if Bosa's going to play, how behind the scenes do you guys approach the uncertainty of what, and I'm not talking just specifically about the 49ers, but just in general, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, it is what it is. Things happen in game as well. You have a plan for it, and you're always going to plan for their best and their best players to be available. And if something changes, then you can tweak your plan. But I mean, it doesn't. I hate to say it doesn't impact the game, because certainly it does when you're talking about two players that are premier players at their position. It absolutely has an impact. But you just make the adjustments as what you think could potentially, how they may alter their approach. But at the end of the day, I think, and I would say most of the teams operate this way, is it still comes down to what do we do?
Matt, I go back to Jordan, seeing how he played in Chicago, looking more healthier, being able to scramble and do different things. For you as a play caller, how much has that, even changed the way you like to call a game, seeing how, he's doing now and how, he has progressed and he feels better?
Yeah, I'd say it allows you to be a little bit more aggressive when you know that he can get out of harm's way. Some of the concepts may take a little bit longer to develop, and that's harder on the offensive line. And so when you have a quarterback that's capable of getting out of harm's way, it just gives you a little bit more confidence that you can dial those up. And if the pocket's clean, that he's going to make the play. If the pocket's not clean, he's either going to check it down or he's going to be able to get out of the way and make it off schedule. And he made a bunch of those the other day.
Good. And I know that McCaffrey's obviously gotten the bulk of work since he's come back, but do you guys also look at what they were able to do with Jordan Mason and the way that they use that as a brand?
Yeah, I was very impressed by Jordan Mason. I think he's a really talented back who maximized his opportunities. And so the way I look at it is it kind of is a two-headed monster. And really whoever they've had in there over the course of their time, Bobby Turner's their longtime running back coach, and I've got as much respect for Coach T as anybody in this league. He always finds his diamonds in the rough and is able to get the most out of his backs. So obviously we all know Christian McCaffrey, the talent that he is and what he's been able to produce over the years, but it's not a surprise to me that they have multiple backs within their system that are capable of going out there and playing at a high level.